Well, again, it's a great honor and a privilege to be here. Like I say, you don't get the opportunity, you think, in our part of the country, in our leagues, to be able to have the opportunity to play in the Rose Bowl and to be able to be out here 2 years in a row. It's quite remarkable, and it's a privilege in which we take very seriously. And like I say, I don't know if I've ever walked in a stadium, like I said before, in that locker room and feel the history of the game. You know, the granddaddy of them all, and you know, you feel that history when you walk in that stadium, in that locker room, and it's a great honor to be there. There's no doubt our players feel that, and you know, it's a great time for us right now. Like I say, the significance of the last 29 games has been a privilege to really coach our players. But you know, I think everybody talks about the last 29 games, but I think the first 39 games are the key to the last 29 games. I think we grew as an organization. We went through trials and tribulations, and there was a lot of great players who helped set the tone and create the culture in which allowed us to play like we have played for the last 29 games. You know, the Christian Ponders, the Nigel Bradhams, the Lonnie Pryors, the Vince Williams, Dustin Hopkins, EJ, LaMarcus Joyner, Telvin, all those guys laid the groundwork for what we're being able to accomplish right now. And my thanks go out to them too, because they're a huge part of what we've been able to do. But you know, we had to learn to crawl before we ran. And now we're dealing with a lot of success and handling it very well. Very proud of our players, the way we manage and compartmentalize all the situations and the things that go. And people ask all the time, why are you able to handle those things? I think the more you're in those situations, the more you're able to do it. We have game day a lot at our games. We've been in national championship games, the Orange Bowls, you know, all those ACC championship games. So all those things have all led to where we are right now. And it's a great honor to play a great team like Oregon here. And you know, we're really looking forward to this challenge. But we know it's going to be a heck of a challenge. They've got a great team. We've got a great team. So it ought to be fun.
We'll now open up the floor for questions. Please state your name and media outlet. We have a question on the right first.
Andrea Adelson, ESPN.com. Jimbo, you mentioned how the program has grown. You had some tough losses early on as a head coach. Where do you feel you have grown the most in your in-game coaching and the way you make adjustments for the second half?
Well, I think as the game goes on, I think anytime you do something more consistently, you're able to learn yourself as much as you are your kids. And I think, but also making sure you're tuned into your kids, and I think doing a really good job in the offseason is taken to create a culture for them to understand where I come from and me to understand where they come from. It's all part of that. And I think those first 39 games has allowed the adjustments and things we've been able to do in the last 29.
We have another question from the middle.
Dan Wolkin, USA Today Sports.
Who's that? Oh, I'm sorry. Right.
Hey, Jimbo, you're at the point now with your program where you're losing a lot of guys every year to the NFL.
Yes.
How do you sustain the level of play that you've had the last 2 years, knowing you're going to lose guys every year, you know, without a dip? Very few programs are able to do that.
Well, I think one, it goes back to the culture and the expectation of our kids and what the older guys have left to the younger guys, and also our assistant coaches. I think we have a tremendous staff that understand how to develop these players at an early age. And I think we play a lot of our freshmen. If you see this year, I mean, a lot of our guys is true freshmen. Even though we have a very experienced team, we'll lose probably anywhere from 9 to 12, 14 guys to the league again this year. You know, those guys, those coaches have, we've played guys, we've developed them early, so it's not like they're coming in just totally raw. And as the culture's been created with the older guys, what the expectations are, but the expectation is not about winning, but about working, and about practicing, and about preparation and all the things that go into winning, not about the winning. Because we know we don't talk about the results. We're not worried about the results. It's about how we do things on a day-to-day basis to create great habits. And I think that's where our assistant coaches and our leadership of our team year in, year out has been able to help us that way.
We have a question from the back left riser.
Jimbo, back here.
Yes.
Mike Scout from KEZI in Eugene. Mark Helfrich talked earlier about how his staff needs to approach recruiting. He said, you know, you don't have to go very far, more than a couple hours, to find great talent down in the Tallahassee and Florida area.
Miami's 9 hours.
What could you say about the way that Oregon recruits, that they're able to sustain a program at such a high level, and they have guys coming in from as far away as Ohio, down into Texas, down in the far reaches of the country?
Well, it is true. We have a great base in the state of Florida and Georgia, but we reach out also to D.C., California, Texas. We're all over the country, too, with a national brand name. But I think they've been in it because they're in a state that doesn't have a large number of high school players or top recruits. But they've done it with facilities, money, presentation, uniforms. They've created – what you have to create is a niche. And if people are going to come from long distances to come to university, why are they coming there? There's something that you have that someone else – if you're bypassing all these places, could it be facilities? Could it be the uniforms? Now, They also win a lot of football games. Understand something. The first and foremost thing in recruiting is guys want to go somewhere they can be successful, get a great education, be around good people, and have an opportunity to play in the league. That's what players want to do, and they've been able to do it. We've been able to do it. So, I mean, it's quite remarkable what they have been able to do. But they created that niche, and they've run with it.
Question from Pat.
Jimbo, Pat 40 from Yahoo Sports to you right here. I'm just wondering when you started bringing prepared notes to your press conferences and why.
Always have. Always have. I always bring reminders and things, and you know, if you have an open book test, why would not use the open book? Daggone. I don't claim to be no 36 ACT now.
Okay, we have another question on the back left.
Hey, Jimbo. Bruce Feldman from Fox Sports. You've been around a bunch of quarterbacks who've gone on to the NFL. Beyond just a lot of film study, can you kind of elaborate on Jameis's football smarts and maybe him being wired a little differently than other guys you've had?
I don't know if he's wired, what he sees. He can process what the great ones see. I mean, he sees angles. He anticipates. He has, first of all, he's an unbelievable competitor, and he's unbelievably tough. I mean, he'll stand there and take a shot right in the mouth and don't care. 310-pound guy running at him, he's going to stand there and take a shot because if it makes his team be successful, he's willing to do that. He's willing to sacrifice his body, his mind, everything for the team. And then his gifts of anticipation, not just arm talent, but hand talent. His ability to adjust the ball. Like the great pitchers. They can throw at 98 and put it on the black. They can throw at 91. They can throw at 84. The placement, the understanding, he sees angles. And just the game itself makes sense. And like I say, I don't know if I've ever been around a guy who, when he comes off, I've quit questioning what he does on the field or why he does it. Even when he does it wrong, he can come off and tell you exactly what he saw, what happened, and why it happened. I'll bet at a 98% rate when he comes off, and he can process so much. His intelligence level is off the charts in the amount of information he can not only process but retain.
Hey, Coach.
Coach
Asher Wildman, WCTV. Just all week long, your players been asked what it's like to finally be an underdog, and just for you to go through talking to your players this week, if you're going to use that as motivation or what you're going to say to them this week.
We don't ever look at ourselves as an underdog. I've never walked on the field and thought I was an underdog. Our team has never walked on the field and thought it was an underdog, and that does not motivate. I mean, you know, you look at I never knew we were a favorite. All those other games, I don't look at that. We look at ourselves as we got to go play well. We have a great opponent, and if we play well, we'll have success. And we don't really look at those things. I mean, and I know that may sound cliché, or you think we don't. We just play and control what we can control.
A question from Dennis.
Jimbo, Dennis.cbssports.com. Excuse me if you've been asked this before, but how do you prepare for a possible championship game while you're getting ready for this game? Do you have GAs looking at?
Oh, yeah. Well, you already have Ohio State and Alabama broken down, because when you get back, you got to hit the ground running. You have to prepare for that. If it doesn't, it doesn't. You know, and we'll have some great film to study in the offseason. And but if it does, you got to hit the ground running with all your breakdowns and all those things ready to go. And we've broken both teams down, and that's why you have to have that support staff around and to get ready to roll.
Question from the front right.
Down to your right here. Greg Couch at Bleacher Report. What are some of the challenges of replacing, following up a legendary coach and getting out from under his shadow when you're, as you said, still learning yourself as a coach?
Well, I don't think you ever stop learning yourself as a coach. If you coach 40 years, I think you still learn from yourself as a coach. And I think if you ever, if good enough gets good enough, then you're in trouble. And I think the thing that I thought I had to do was be myself. I don't believe people follow people who try to emulate people, who try to be like other people. But a lot of my core values and traditions were from Coach Bowden years ago when I was around him. I learned from all the coaches I was under, and I've taken things that I've liked and disliked from everyone. But at the same time, I don't ever think when something happens, what will Coach Bowden do here, or Coach Saban do here, or Coach Miles do here, or I don't ever think like that. I think, what should we do? And I think you learn from people, but I think the key is you got to put your own stamp, your own personality on your own program. And if you do it with class and dignity, then, hopefully success will follow.
Another question up on the right.
Coach Mac Engel, Fort Worth Star-Telegram. Of all the things you've heard, said, and written about Jameis, what's the biggest misperceptions that you think people have about him?
That he's selfish, that he's a bad guy. He's an unbelievably kind-hearted person. I had a guy the other day, he lived. He had a little house in the neighborhood where he lived. You know, where him and a couple people lived, and the neighborhood kids. The Saturday before we were reporting on Sunday, the day of the Heisman, matter of fact, because he finished up an exam on Friday night, and we had practice on Sunday, so he had that one off day. You know, he spent it for an hour and a half or 2 hours playing backyard football with about 12 kids in the neighborhood. I mean, the guy is such a kind-hearted people guy. He loves people. He loves to be around people, not from a standpoint of, I'm Jameis Winston. He genuinely likes people. He's fun to be around. He's genuine. He's honest. You know, he's just a good guy. He really is.
Another question on the right.
Chuck Carlton, Dallas Morning News. Jimbo, you've been through an awful lot of close games, much more so than the year before.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of, does that breed any special confidence that if you're in that tight situation late in the game,
I
the
think
players?
anytime you've ever go through a situation, because every coach wants, well, if we're behind, this is what we're going to do. If we're in this situation, this is what we're going to do. Well, when you do it, you always say, man, we can do this. And I think it's just like, you know, saying, can we win big? And we won big before. Can we win an ACC championship? Can we win it? I mean, anytime you go through a situation and you have success, it definitely breeds confidence, especially if you go back and study why you do it and understand why you were successful, the mindset you had, so you can repeat it. Because I think that's a lot of things that we do in sports, and athletes are like that. Sometimes you ask a guy, why'd you have success? I don't know, I just played good. Well, man, let's go back and think why you played well. You know, how did you prepare? How did you think? How did you sleep? How did you eat? How much film did you watch that week? You know, and you try to get guys to repeat performance, because that's what athletics is about, consistency. And I think anytime you get in those situations, study why you had success, remember the mindset, remember the temperament, and then try to duplicate it if you have to.
Another question from the back left.
Gene Williams, warchant.com. Coach, Jalen Ramsey, I heard, was a little under the weather. What's his status today going into the game?
Oh, he'll be
tomorrow?
fine. He'll be fine. He had a little bug, and we held him down and gives him a good chance to rest. So he'll be ready to go.
We have a question from the right.
Jimbo, Jeff Fischel from the ACC Digital Network. Now you've spent 3 weeks looking at Oregon on tape, prepping for them. Obviously, they have a fantastic quarterback, but what else? What are the other couple of things that really impressed you most?
Well, that's the thing. I mean, I say this. I mean, Mariota is Mariota. I mean, he is. Marcus is tremendous. One of the best college football players ever. I mean, the guy's tremendous. But they have a great offensive line. They're very dynamic in the backfield. They have great speed outside. On defense, those ends and defensive outbackers are long, 6'6", 6'7" guys, very physical. Nose guards, very physical. The backers play downhill very good as far as being able to take on the run. They read very well, get back and pass. The corners can run. There's very few holes and weaknesses. Special teams, they cover because they're so athletic and can run. I mean, they're a complete football team. I mean, they really are. And people say, what are you going to do to have success? You're going to have to play well in all three phases for 60 minutes. I mean, that's going to be the key, because they do not beat themselves. They take care of the ball, and they're a very good, very well-coached football team.
You have a question from the middle?
Coach, if we could get away from football for a second, it's Joe Donlin from KGW TV in Portland, Oregon. Talk a little bit about FA, your connection to the Frohnmeyers, and also when it comes to Ethan, how hard it is as a father to know this is something you can't answer just yet.
Well, it is very difficult, and it's your motivation every day. It's why you get out of bed, and when you think you have a bad day, you know, there's a lot of other things in this world that, you know, that are a lot tougher than coaching a football game or worrying about who's winning and losing. And the Frohnmeyers are people we reached out to, and we found out that Ethan had Fanconi anemia, as they had lost 2 children to the disease. They have a 3rd daughter who has it right now. They had 3. You know, it was a great learning tool and a great resource for us. And then, but, you know, it's like I say, I've never taken that bracelet off since we discovered. I mean, it reminds me every day. Every time I think I got a problem or I think I got something, you know, it puts it back in perspective. And, you know, hopefully the platform they've had and the platform we have, that we can create enough publicity for the disease to bring it out, the awareness to it. And we've created, you know, we've been able to raise this past year. We raised over $1 million for our foundation to be able to donate back, and they're making tremendous strides in the disease for longevities of life, and hopefully for a cure down the road. So it's hope. And, you know, it puts things in perspective, there's no doubt. And when you come home from a tough day and you're able to see that smile on his face, you know, gives you a lot of energy to go do whatever you got to do.
Question from Bill?
Bill Roden with the New York Times. Good luck with that.
Thank you.
You know, recruiting is so hard anyway, and I'm just wondering, and I asked Mark this, do you think this tournament, the new tournament, will intensify recruiting, will put even more pressure on coaches to get better players, or can it get any more intense?
That's what I want to say. How can it get any more intense? I mean, it's crazy out there with the amount of with social media and all the research services and things out there that people have. You know, it's an amazing thing how recruiting to me has taken a life. It's its own season. It may get more coverage than the season does once it's over with and how it goes. It's amazing, but I don't know if it'll put any more on it because you always want to be in the national championship. Now you're in the Final Four, but it's not going to make it go away. I promise you that. And you know, that's the lifeline of all programs is recruiting, and you have to find your niche in what you have and be able to, for these kids to be able to develop and get what they want out of it, because that's kind of what's really turned into. Are they getting what they want educationally, you know, from a personal standpoint, and then are they getting developed and they're winning games? And recruiting's a battle. These games are tough, but I'm not sure recruiting's not tougher.
Another question from the left.
Coach Joe Kepner from WFTV in Orlando. Your team hasn't scored a lot of touchdowns in the second half in some of these comebacks the last few weeks. From that perspective, would you still be in this situation if you had an average kicker versus a guy like Roberto Aguayo?
I was trying to think about what you said. Just points. I mean, Roberto's special. Roberto, again, I've said he's as good as I've ever been around, and the clutch and his work ethic, and people don't realize how good an athlete he is. I think that's the key. He's such a great balance and body weight. You know, kicker's got to have great balance to be consistent, and he can do that along with great leg strength. But he works, but having him is definitely a weapon. How you call the game, the plays you call, when you hit the comfort zone of where his range is, and the consistency, it allows you to coach the game differently when you have an experienced kicker like that and a dominant kicker like that. So he's a great one to have. I know that.
Question from the right.
Yeah, Coach Mike Bianchi from the Orlando Sentinel. You speak so highly of Jameis and all your other players. Does it bother you that you guys have this, quote, most hated team in college football label? And also the situation yesterday at practice with Peyton, could that help change perceptions?
We're going to do what we do every day. And perception, you know, we can't help what people think of us. We just keep doing what we do. We know how we do it. We believe in our system. We believe we have better kids than we have players. I've said that all along. And when you look at facts of things and go to the facts and not at people's opinions and what we want, agendas that we want to push, it ought to change because we have tremendous kids. But, you know, you can't change how people do. You just got to keep doing things right. And over time, people will see that you do the right things and you stand up for the right things. You can't force, when you try to force someone to think away, like I said, or it's like coaching to me. If I try to be somebody I'm not, it doesn't work. We're going to continue to do things the right way, the Florida State way, and we believe that's definitely the right way and be good people, and time will see.
Another question from the right.
David Fox with Athlon Sports. Just to follow up on the question about preparing for a potential next game, would you have that available to you, like on the flight back? How would you start to delve into
definitely.
it?
Technology today, you can watch the game, and you can pull up an iPad or your computer right there and be able to watch cut-ups or the team games or whatever you need to do on the way back. Yes.
The question from the left.
Coach Nick Moyle, National Sports Journalism Center. Can you describe how much Rashad means to this team?
Oh, wow.
Not just in terms of his relationship with Jameis, but what he means for the younger guys heading into a game this big?
I say he's so much, and I hate to use it because the guy was an icon, but he's like Derek Jeter to me. All the guys behind the scenes watch what he does, how he carries himself, and you know, he doesn't need the limelight, he doesn't need the media, but every big moment, every big situation, he's always the guy making plays, and it's in significant parts of the game or big games. And you know, he just says, well, okay, you want to talk to me? Okay, if you don't, I won't. And he's not a real vocal guy. I mean, he says it quietly. Now, 2 or 3 times in games this year when he thought he had to speak up, he did. He's kind of the guy, whatever I have to do for our team to be successful, and he's a tremendous student, person. I mean, he's just the epitome of, to me, what, you know, if he's your son, what you want him to be and how he carries himself. I mean, he's just an unbelievably class act and to go along with a tremendous player. I can't say enough good things about him.
Another question from the back left.
Hey, Jimbo, Bruce Feldman. The 4 coaches in the playoffs, you, obviously the other 2 guys in the Sugar Bowl, won national championships. Mark taking over a program as a first-time head coach, something similar to what you've had to do on a big stage at a major program. What impresses you most about what he has done there with the transition?
That, you know, Mark seems to be himself too. I don't see him trying to be Chip Kelly or Mike Bellotti or anybody else. I see him, you know, being Mark. And he was always a tremendously successful coach, and I think that's why he's probably having success, because he is being himself. But to be able to keep that consistency and block it out, and you know, take him to keep pushing the heights and push them toward their first national championship. And it's been tremendous what he's been able to do. But I see Mark just being Mark. I see him being comfortable, as I say, comfortable in his own skin.
We have another question from the left.
Jimbo, Ryan Wayne, KTVZ in Bend. What do you feel is the biggest advantage your team gained from playing in this game a year ago?
Well, I think from this point of it, handling all the media, the expectation of how you got to act, what you got to do, when you got to be here, your time constraints and how you pull back and how to manage your time. And then I think familiarity of being in that stadium, I think it definitely helps. I mean, I know they're in it too and have familiarity, but we do too. And I think anytime you go somewhere that at least you've been there and you've had success, it brings back good memories, and I think it puts you in a good mindset.
Do we have any additional questions? One right there.
Ralph Rousseau, Associated Press. Jimbo, playing off of a question you had a little earlier, do you get a little tired of having to defend this team, be it character, be it the resume and the quality of the wins, as opposed to it being celebrated for it's what it has accomplished?
Not really. I mean, I hate it for the kids as far as if they have to answer those questions. But as a coach, that's part of it. I mean, it's part of the business, whatever is out there. I hate it for the kids because I know how good the kids they really are and that what they've accomplished. I mean, what is it, the second or third longest win streak in the modern era for college football? I mean, the record's 34, and I think it's second, right? Am I right? And since 1970? Something like that. I mean, what they've been able to accomplish and what they've been able to do in a great conference and big games and big moments. I mean, we've won 14 in a row at home. We've won 18 in a row away from home. So, I mean, it's what they've been able to accomplish is tremendous. And, when I look back at it, it will be. But sometimes they may grow as people from this, very much so, because, as you say, everything in life isn't fair. And what I mean by that is what you think is right, it doesn't matter. You have to keep doing what's right. And that's where I think you have to test your core beliefs of how you go about your business, that you do things right, whatever people say. And if you continually do them right, people will see that you're a class act.
We'll take two more questions. One in the back riser.
Jimbo, Warren Williamson, Oregon Duck Football News. Mark he enjoys practice and he likes the kids to have fun. Tell me about what you guys do at practice. What do you do? Maybe something you did this week that was fun and maybe showed your sense of humor a little bit.
Played football. Football's fun for us. We love to practice. We love to go play football. I mean, and it's the same every day. We joke, clown. We get on. If they're wrong, we get on them. If they're right, we're celebrating, having fun. I mean, we have a lot of fun at practice. I mean, it's like joking, clowning. I mean, there's nothing, any one particular thing. We don't draw it up that way. We just take the days as they come and handle it.
Okay, we have a question on the left.
Ira Schofel, warchant.com. Jimbo, you've said that Mario Edwards is a rare guy who can be explosive at 300-plus pounds. Mm-hmm. Now that he's lost this weight, what have you seen from him? Has it changed the way he looks at practice?
Well, I think he's more explosive plays. I mean, you know what I mean? I mean, he's down, he's dropped some weight and he wanted to be able to move better because he's playing on the edge a little more than inside and outside. And he felt comfortable there. Even though he did last year, played on the edge well, but he just felt like he felt comfortable there. And conditioning, endurance, those types of things have really grown.